Okay, so for my lesson, it's going to be for 8th graders, and we are doing literacy and writing, and the context behind it is going to be that you guys are going to be learning about narrative essays, and the idea is that prior you guys have learned about informative essays and just writing an essay in general, and how there's an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So, here we go. So you guys have just came in from your science class, so we're going to try and do this first. So today you guys are going to learn about narrative essays. And how many of you know what a narrative essay is? What does it do?
Tell the story.
What kind of story? It does tell a personal story. Good job. What kind of details would you want in a personal story? Melissa?
Experiences that have happened to you.
Okay, what kind of experience would you looking for, Kendall?
Ones that you feel strongly about.
Okay, give an example. Or can you give an example?
I tore my ACL, so like how that like affected me and like how I feel about it.
Good. So quickly here with your elbow partners or individually, I gave you guys a couple of questions to answer for me. The first one is going to be, what is a narrative essay, which we kind of just went over. Then what is a hook statement? And then what kind of components do you need when you're writing an introductory to an essay? So what kind of parts would you need for an introduction to an essay? You guys should have learned this already last year, and we revisited it a couple weeks ago when we talked about the formal essay and a generic essay. And then what makes a good writer when writing a narrative essay? And there's no wrong or right answer in this. I'm just looking to see what you remember from prior knowledge about writing. On number 3, I made a mistake. You'll see it says what care. It's supposed to say what are the components a writer needs when introductory paragraph. Sorry about that. Okay, so pencil or pens down for me, please. Finish up your last thought. Okay, by a show of hands, how many of you felt confident with answering these questions without a doubt? Okay, Melissa, I see your, and Lexi, I kind of see your hand moving. Sophia, do you feel confident in that?
Yeah.
Why?
Prior knowledge. And
Prior knowledge, okay.
basing it back to this and kind of already knowing components of an essay, so it's pretty similar.
Okay. What about you, Kendall?
Some of the questions,
What do you think was the hardest question for you to answer?
what makes a good writer?
What makes a good writer? What do you think, Sophia? What was the most difficult question for you?
I didn't think before, but I'd say the same because that could be subjective on what a good writer is.
Okay. So what do you think that I was looking for when I say about being a good writer?
Capturing readers' attention. Interesting and engaging.
So that kind of relates to what question do you think?
Number 2, a hook statement.
A hook statement.
Yeah.
Kendall, can you tell me what a hook statement is?
Is like an opening line or a line in the introductory paragraph where it draws the reader into the content.
Good. And can you guys tell me the 3 things that an essay would need in order for it to be considered an essay? What 3 components do you remember, Melissa?
An introduction paragraph, a body paragraph, and
Perfect, good. Lexi, how many can you have in the body paragraph? How many parts? So if you have the introductory, then you have the body, and then you have a conclusion. How many paragraphs do you think you would need? At least 3. Good. And how many sentences do you remember that need to be in there? What makes a paragraph? How many sentences?
4 at least.
4 minimum. Good. So now we're going to talk today about how we're going to design a narrative essay. And your homework for tonight is going to be to go home, and we're going to go, you guys are going to write an introductory essay to your narrative. So I want you guys to kind of think about and jot down at the bottom of your paper. I want you guys to write and tell me what personal experience you are going to write about in this essay. And write a hook statement for me. I like that. That's good. That should be fun to write about.
Yeah, our cohort, which is just like
And when you're finished writing your possible hook statement, please put your pencils down so you know you're ready to move on. About 30 more seconds. Sophia, I'm gonna let you finish it. But Melissa, why don't you tell me what you're gonna write about?
How it feels to lose a loved one.
How would you start out your narrative essay? Is that
Well, I'd start it with a question saying, like, have you ever experienced a loved one getting sick and eventually passing on?
good? Lexi, what about you? Oh, that doesn't sound good. What kind of words do you think you would use to be descriptive so that readers can understand what you went through?
Probably ones that are about sadness, missing emotions.
Sophia, what about you? You sound. It looks like you had a really good one written down.
Moving from California to Washington.
That is a big change.
It is.
What was the good part and the bad part? How would you explain that to your readers?
The good part is I didn't like the weather because it was way too hot. So
Really?
yeah.
But you like the rain?
I don't like the rain. It not being in the 90s every day was I like that. The worst part being like
Yep. What about you, Kendall?
wanting to be a teacher.
Wanting to be a teacher? Why?
Because a lot of people tend to have when like they ask you what you want to be, nobody actually like expects you to understand like you want to be a teacher. They're always just sort of like, why do you want to do that?
Yep.
Sort of like conflict between how people perceive teachers and how people who want to become teachers perceive teachers.
So what kind of words would you use to describe what you want out of life? Or what career you want to have?
Giving back or like inspiring others.
Good. All right, so these are going to be your exit slips to your next class. So when you guys leave today, you guys are going to turn those in to me so I can see you understand knowledge for the next 15 minutes. Maybe you guys some time to work on your intros, and if you have any questions, please raise your hand.